Welcome to the course of Plain English used in business email writing. There's totally about 30 minutes for this course. You will learn how to adopt principles of Plain English to improve your email communication with the native and of our course also native English speakers, those counterparts in the world. We will start by dispelling a common misconception about Plain English writing. It does not mean deleting complex information to make the document easier to understand. Instead, using Plain English assures the orderly and clear presentation of complex information so that readers have the best possible chance of understanding it. A Plain English email uses words economically and at the level of audience can understand. Its sentence structure is tight. Its tone is welcoming and direct. A Plain English email is easy to read and looks like it's meant to be read. It will be helpful to list the most common problems we have encountered with business email writing, such as long sentence, passive voice, weak verbs, superfluous words, jargon and slang, abstract words, or unnecessary details. Then, how to overcome these problems? That's why we need Plain English. Here is a Plain English rewriting example, before and after. In the beginning of the before example, it starts with passive voice. It's a primary design. And after example start with active. We design. Let's take a look what has been improved in the after example. First, clearly is less words. For the before example is 33 versus 25 is after. The second one, the sentence becomes shorter. The third one, it uses active voice. The final one, it uses we and you directly address the reader. Therefore, Plain English is to utilize many of these principles, then it can improve our writing. In this course, we have 15 lessons to introduce 14 Plain English principles, plus the final section is about the readability formulas. Although the principles that follow may sound magically simple, if you use them, your writing will improve dramatically. After you complete the course, you will be able to improve your email writing like this example. The before example is complicated, hard to read. In fact, you can use some online editor tool like Hemingway Editor to review the readability of your email content. The after example shows the improved Plain English version, which is clear and concise. You can see some index showing how much improvement it did, like a number of words, words per sentence, fresh reading ease, and fresh grade level. Let me briefly introduce the principle of Plain English. First is to use the active voice with strong verbs. Most business writing with unnecessary big words and long-winded sentences make readers yearn for clear words and shorter sentences. A quick fix lies in using the active voice with strong verbs in writing. Strong verbs excite and tighten any sentence, causing information to spring from the page. Next is to try personal pronouns. Talk to your reader. Let's to use you and we to make it personal. You and we have a greater impact on the reader. You directly address the reader, then more likely you understand what they have to do. Next is to avoid to use abstract words. When you write, use specific and concrete words wherever you can, and general abstract ones when you have to. Also, it is this way to make specific and concrete words carry your general abstract ideas. Next is to omit superfluous words. Words are superfluous when they can be replaced with fewer words that mean the same thing. Sometimes you can use a simpler word for these phrases. Next is to write in the positive. Positive sentences are shorter and easier to understand than their negative counterparts. The key is to avoid using the word not in your phrase. Then the next is to use a shorter sentence. A longer and complex sentence, the harder it is for readers to understand any single portion of it. So try to shorten your sentence. Some complex sentence, you can use the bulletin or numbering list instead. Then the next is to replace jargon and slang with short or common words. It is said if you need to fall back on industry-specific jargon phrases to get your point across, then you don't know what you are talking about, as well as you think you do. Then the next is to choose the simplest synonym. Surround the complex idea with short, common words. When a shorter, simpler synonym exists, then just use it. Then the next is to keep the subject and verb and the object close together. The natural word order of English speakers is subject, verb, and object. Your sentence will be clear if you follow this order as closely as possible. Then the next is to better using if-then conditionals. When we utilize a conditional, we follow the natural English word order very closely. Then the sentence will be easier to read. Then the next is to keep your sentence structure parallel. A long sentence often fails without a parallel structure. Parallelism simply means ensuring a list or series of items is presented using parallel parts of speech. The next is to avoid using respectively or similar, the former, the latter in sentence. Whenever you use respectively, you are forcing your reader to go back and match up what belongs to what. You may be saving some words by using respectively, but your reader has to use more time and read your words twice to understand what you have written. Then next is to keep paragraph length relatively short. To reduce dense text, to keep paragraph as short as possible, even though paragraph length is determined by content. One of the ways is to use bullets to list information wherever possible. Then the next is to use tables to increase clarity. Tables often convey information more quickly and clearly than text. The final ones we are talking about is to utilize readability formulas. Though nobody can learn to write properly by using a mathematical formula, writing is what inside you and how it comes out in words. Nevertheless, readability formulas have helped many writers measure the readability of their writing. We have found them helpful to a degree. The next ones we are identifying the principles one by one. The first principle is use the active voice with strong verbs.